class is in session. This is the show where knowledge is profit. Just so you know, Army Piper, OC Guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy. It's all going down. Let's go.
Yo, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Piper Academy. We got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be taking a look at Injective, chance of it hitting $50. It's up 25% in the week. We're going to be watching that one today for sure. It's about to break out. Bitcoin coming in at about $64,000. We got Ethereum fighting to hit $3,500. We're going to be looking at that. Plus, NVIDIA. Is it time to take some profit on that stock? We're going to be looking at that and a whole lot more today on Piper Academy. Let's get it, guys. Class is in session. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Piper Academy. I am Army Piper. We come at you every single Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we bring this show to the people in the chat. That is you guys, the alumni, and I'm glad to have you guys here. But I don't do the show by myself. I got these two. What's up, Trade Fly and OC Guy? How you guys doing, man?
What's up, man? Good to be here. Snuck in here a little bit late, just got off a little bit early, so I'm excited to be on the show today. Mix it up with you guys, talk a little news, little TA. Let's get it.
Yeah, I definitely had this scene set up, and then I heard your voice and said, oh, we got Trade Fly. Let's go over here. Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right, so no, we're happy to have you here, man. Any day that we can get you on the show, we are happy. And I'm also excited about when you're doing a show without me, which is, again, tonight, I believe. We'll talk about that later. So,
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. OC, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Had a great night's sleep. I think markets are moving steadily, and yeah, things are looking good in this side of the road. But other than that, just seeing what the weekend might be preparing for us. I think it's gonna be an interesting weekend. I know it's just Wednesday, but still. Things are looking forward to see, or I'm looking forward to see a very interesting weekend, and pretty happy to be here.
Absolutely, I agree. Let's go ahead and jump over into the news. Let's knock that stuff out, and then let's come back and let's talk some charts. Let's talk some TA. Let's talk some Injective. Okay, so let's do that. Guys, taking a look here, fear and greed index sitting at 69. We are in greed still. It was 65 yesterday, in case you don't recall. So that's what we're seeing there. Looking at the crypto bubbles here on the daily, we are sitting in a lot of green, but we are getting some red pullback here on the hourly. Big reason for that, guys, some news came out. Joe Biden shaking up the chip markets over there. NVIDIA pulling back, and we'll be looking at that chart today also. That pullback on NVIDIA, it is such a massive stock. I do believe it's pulling back the entire S&P right now. And so that S&P sentiment, risk off, we're seeing some pullback on crypto today, but none of it major, none of it's big. It's all very small movements. So overall on the daily, we are still green just this past hour. So it's all good. Let's jump over here and take a look. Actually, let's go down here and take a look before we go into the liquidations. Bitcoin right now, 64.5, 64.6. We'll round it up. We'll throw $4 in there. That is where Bitcoin is sitting at. It's up 1.1% on the daily. Ethereum sitting at about 34.46. We'll call that 34.50. We'll throw $4 on that too. Why not? That is up 1%. You guys can see here that we've got BNB sitting about 0.7%. At $574. Solana's at 160. Guys, look at XRP. Up 13.4%. It's sitting at 62 cents. XRP is doing stuff, but that's okay. It can do that. I will be happy with my portfolio minus XRP. It's okay. Cardano in here. Let's see. Cardano's at 3.9%, outperforming Doge for the day. But yeah, it's beating it on the weekly also by 4%. There you go. So Cardano, guys, doing some stuff for us. That's beautiful to see. Polygon Matic is up right now. It's moved up 3 positions. It's up 8.8% for the week, 3.6 for the day. I know some people that sold their Polygon Matic and bought Injective. Where's Injective at on here? Let's go down and check out Injective. See where it's at on here. Injective is up 1 position. It's up 12%. So there you go. If you sold your Polygon Matic and you picked up Injective instead, This guy and somebody you guys may have heard of, Alex O Crypto. I think he did that also. So that's okay. We're looking good. Yeah, Stacks is looking pretty good too, man. My Stacks bag is very happy. We talked about that last week. Where is Stacks at on here? Let's go see Stacks. I got Stacks on Stacks on Stacks. Where are you at? I probably passed it. I did. Let's go and look. Looking at Stacks, there we go. Stacks is up 2 positions, the number 32. It's up 4.6 for the daily, 28.6 on the weekly. So there you go. Let's jump in and take a look at these liquidations. Guys, past 24 hours, 53,539 traders liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $156.2 million. Biggest liquidation, it was on OKX. It was Ethereum, 2.8 million on that one. And then, guys, we did have some data come out this morning on the economic calendar. I was building permits. They did a revised upward revision on the housing starts, just so you guys know. But as of right now, we actually got more building permits approved in June than we did the previous month. Previously, it was at 1.4. Now it's at 1.44. So there you go. It actually said that it would only be about 1.4. So we beat it by 0.04%. That's all it is. Building permits up 3.4%. They actually projected it to only be up 0.5% for that month over month. And then housing starts here. We did we beat the consensus and the forecast there on housing starts. So they're starting to build houses again. Big upset, I think, is going to be coming off of that. And I'll talk about that over here in the Trio camp. So let's jump over here. I think you're going to see a lot of upset on those housing starts because as of right now, on a national average, there's at least 9 months of inventory at the current buying levels available on all markets. So, on average, because we know that TradeFly said out there in LA County, it's a little bit different, but on a national average, 9 months of inventory available. So housing starts, I'm a little surprised that there's that many new homes being built right now with that many sitting on the market available. So, but that's what we got for that. There is this news that I want to talk about, and we'll just drop this over to our normal news setup, not the promo news. Let's go over here. There we go. Look at here, guys. This is the article that I was talking about with that news on Biden. Chip stocks tumble on fears of tighter U.S. Curves on sales to China. So there you go. Had to get that out. Say that 5 times fast. Shares of chip makers fell more than 4% before the bell on Wednesday amid reports of possible tighter restrictions on supply of advanced technology to key market China in comments on Taiwan from presidential nominee Donald Trump. He made a comment too, and we'll talk about that one in here. U.S. told allies it is considering using the most severe trade curbs available if companies continue giving Beijing access to advanced semiconductor technology. U.S. listed shares of the Dutch chip-making equivalent provider ASML Holdings fell about 8% despite beating second quarter profit margins, and the restrictions already in place have dented U.S. chip makers' sales to China. NVIDIA's revenue from China stood at about 18% of its total revenue in the quarter, ending on April 28th, compared to 66% a year ago. So you can see big hit there to them on that news of restrictions there, losing a lot of profit on that. Shares of AI heavyweight NVIDIA fell close to 4% pre-market. Smaller rival AMD shed 3.5%, and Qualcomm and ARMS Holding both down about 4% also. Former U.S. President Donald Trump told Bloomberg Businessweek that Taiwan should pay the U.S. for its defense as it does not give the country anything, which also sent TSMC's U.S. listed shares down 5.4%. TSMC is the dominant maker of advanced chips used in everything from AI applications to smartphones and fighter jets. So there you go. Let's come over here. Let's talk about this. You got them talking about, the executive branch, the Biden, the current presidency, saying, hey, look, we are going to make sure that you guys are following these restrictions of U.S. chips going into China, right? They're trying to control how much technology is the future. Technology controls everything from how advanced your military is to how much, economic growth you get. Because if you've got all the chips, you hold all the chips, right? There you go. The China having a restricted flow of that was to ensure that the U.S. Would have that advantage of chip access and to meet demand. And so you've got Biden saying, hey, look, we're going to restrict this, make sure that you guys are following these restrictions of China getting those. And then on top of old Donald Trump saying, hey, Taiwan, we're going to send you the bill that we've never discussed and agreed on because we've been keeping you from being China. And if you want to continue doing work with us and you want that protection, maybe you guys need to be paying us some money. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Trade Fly. Does Taiwan owe us money? And you guys in the chat, let me know. Does Taiwan owe the U.S. money? Is it okay to expect that they should be like, hey, we've hooked you up. Now you're going to need to hook us up. Scratch our back. We'll scratch yours. Let us know in the chat. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, Trade Fly. What you got, man?
Oh, I look at it from a military mindset and look at some of the places that the U.S. occupies. You look at Japan, you look at Taiwan, you look at South Korea. It's a strategic move on the United States' part. No, they don't owe us anything, but we are now closer to some of our, we'll say, I'm not going to say enemies, but I'm going to say some of our non-allies. That's the best way I can put it.
People that we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, so it keeps us closer, right? You island hop, you guys, if you go back and look at some of the old school wars, look at the ways that we get there. Look at how you kind of bounce around, and planes can't fly forever. Some of your gear has to be shipped back and forth. So there's a strategic stronghold, and that's kind of why we occupy those places. Trade is only a small portion of why we're where we're at in the world. I promise you that.
Yeah, I agree. OC, you got any thoughts on this? If we would come down and clean out all the cartels in Mexico, would Mexico have to cough up some money to us? Would that be an expectation? What's your thoughts on Taiwan, man?
I would actually say yes. And let's take that a little bit personal here because of the comment that you mentioned, right? Not the wrong way. I mean, all the other contrary, right? Being here, basically having some other countries' military coming in, I think that it needs to have some sort of value exchange. If not, that will be considered something like an invasion, but without being an invasion. Like, I help you, but I do keep my military there, right? So I do believe that just because of how things work, there needs to be a little bit of a exchange value there. And I think it does, because I mean, Taiwan is one of the most important points in the world, talking about chip manufacturing and economy wise, talking about the Western economy, right? And we know how much are those manufacturers worth, and also being or constructing one doesn't guarantee that it actually works. So I think the value exchange should be something like, or it's about, we invest in here and therefore we get a better deal on this kind of things, and therefore we provide military protection. And I mean, talking about Taiwan, knowing the history behind it, I think that they are more than glad to have U.S. Visiting them, and also building up, their bases there, and building up a strong point of, I don't know how to call this, resistance, or I don't know, resources, or however you want to call it, right? But I don't see it bad. I don't see it going the wrong way. In fact, I do believe that exchange of value should be there, should be a little bit more public, so that strengthen, the bilateral cooperation between countries, which is what we need. We need, work together towards a common goal.
Yeah, I can agree with that, and I do agree that there is an expectation of, look, we are friends, right? And so we are doing a lot for you. There should be something back, but I don't think it needs to be fiat. And remember, paying us back can be as simple as, hey, we we dug out some area there in one of our naval bases, and we have a parking spot with the VIP red carpet for your next aircraft carrier that you want to park in this sea over here. That would be a message to the entire region. So there are some things that they can do on that. So absolutely. But the question is it time to sell off some NVIDIA on this pullback? I don't think so. I'm going to go take a look at the chart here and we'll talk about this for a second. Looking here at NVIDIA, you guys can see opening today, creating a nice gap down here. We have a 4% drop here, losing that 1.618. That's a phase one golden pocket there at $126. And we opened to the downside at about 121. So it's only down a little bit, honestly. I'm going to be watching for the 50-day exponential moving average coming in here at about 115, 116, and that's where I'm going to be watching. But I think overall, I'm up over 100% on my NVIDIA shares. It is okay that is going down like this. And even with this data and this news, guys, we had a bearish divergence that printed here over last week on the 10th of July, and we were hitting that percentage mark. You can see here last week we were already showing downside movement. So I'm not so sure that this is all because of Biden. I just think that this is playing out, and we got a bounce. We got a nice little range here, 118 and to about $116 is a good range. And I do want to show you guys. I talk about this stuff all the time, but you guys see right here. Let's get this line. I'll do a line. Here we go. You guys see this right here? That is a gap. We have there's not a CME gap, but it's a market closure gap. And so I would not be surprised to see us gap down to that line of the 50-day moving average and close that gap out. It has not been closed yet. So a little gap down action. Typically normal. Nothing to see there that's making me too concerned or worried. Even if we went all the way down to $96, to be honest, we have a massive gap down there that still hasn't been filled. So that's what I'm seeing there. I'm going to hold. I'm going to hodl. I'm going to hodl my NVIDIA. There you go. That's my call today. Let's go take a look out though at Bitcoin. But first, before we do that, TradeFly, who we got in the chat today, bro?
Alrighty, let's take a look. See, I know I've said what's up to a bunch of you already, but man, I got a little way to scroll here. Average Crypto Joe, hello, how you doing? Dave Digital, my man, he's in the chat. Username, he says he's on time. And Alexander G, best mind in the house, how you doing? Hugs for you, SoCal, let's go. Harp Warrior, my aviator username. I think I might have got you already, but here, you get it twice. Reggie Classics, man, that man is crushing trades. He's a wild dude, man. He does like 2x leverage though. But my man Regent Cash, which is my buddy Chris, how you doing? Little shout out for you. He actually watches the show with his family in the morning sometimes, which is pretty cool. All right, Muhammad Nazarian, how you doing? Mike Play, Randy, Albit, baby. And here we go, keeping it going. Eric Wallen, Crypto Pollo Cluck, how you doing, fam? Crux of Crypto, our dude, always crushing it. Joseph Richardson, Amy Lives Crypto, go out, check her channel, please. Crypto Pollo, I already got you. BC Port Corp, Blackie Chan, how you doing, buddy? Caffeinated Crypto and Alex O Crypto, my brother from another mother. Twinsy, it's a boy. Congratulations, man. I'm going to keep telling you that for a while. I'm just excited for you guys. C90 for the win. Still waiting to hear your rebuttal there. You said you were waiting to hear a military member's opinion first before he speaks. So I'd like to hear what you got to say. And David Brumbelow stopping by. What's up? How you doing? And here we go. Scrolling. Mark Dutch, how you doing, man? It's good to see you in the chat. It is a blessing. All right. And then we got Mana Meta. Hello. How you doing?
Awesome. That is our alumni there. Just gotta give them a shout out, man. We love having them here. Let's go take a look at Bitcoin and take a look at that and see what's going on. But I do want to bring up something. I just saw this on Twitter. Donald Trump has said to the Federal Reserve, do not cut the rates before the election. So you know that whole September rate cut that everyone's talking about? We may not see that. But that's okay. I'm fine with that. It is suppressing the inflation right now. It's keeping people it's controlling demand and supply. How about that?
That is exactly why they will do it.
which is why they will do it. Exactly. I was going to say that.
They're gonna leave him a
Let's be
poop
honest,
sandwich. Here you go, bro. Good luck.
our markets have absolutely pumped and rocked with it sitting at where it's at right now. But go ahead, Tradefly. I didn't hear you when I was speaking there.
Oh, I said they're gonna leave him a poop sandwich. They're gonna, here you go, man. Cut rates for you. Good luck with the markets, Mister. I'm gonna fix it.
You asked us not to cut it. We cut them twice.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What the hell? No, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. But let's go talk about how we handle Bitcoin. Oh, bitty boy. I love it. Let's see here. Bitcoin is pushing up. I'm talking about this range here. I'm still gonna stand on this hill. I'll die on this hill. I think that we're heading up to 67,366. Because we are getting, after that red candle pullback this morning, guys, we're starting to get a pump up, getting a little doji candle here to the upside, giving us indication that we may actually close this daily candle green today. I'm watching the top of this channel here. If we bring this into focus, lock it down. There you go. There's that channel, guys. And it is crossing right up at the platinum pocket, the 786 at 67,366. I think we're going to hit that. I think it's going to be sometime by this Saturday, we're going to go out there and hit that. That would be a point that I would watch for rejection. If you're in trades, you might want to look at taking your profit there for your TP. But if you're looking to hodl and you're waiting for that chance to buy more, you might want to wait. Not financial advice, but you might want to DCA and wait for a little pullback, because I do think that we are going to hit that line and come back to the 50 and 100. We talked about this on the newsletter this week. Let's go ahead and bring that up there. That is what I think we're going to see. We're going to have a little pump up to that level, hit that top channel, hit that bottom 786 on the platinum pocket, and then come back down to this range right here in line with the 50-day and the 100-day exponential moving averages there. That is what I'm watching. We are starting to get a downtrend tick here from yesterday, and we're starting to get a little bit of curvature, but I would love to see this go into a duck head and finish off. That would give us that little move up into that range there. So nothing looking bad. I think that today we will close a green candle. We're already turning green as we speak right now. But yeah, I'm watching that 67,366 there on that upside move. Tradefly, what do you got on your heat map? Let's go check that out.
Yeah, man. So as soon as you started talking about it, I was like, let me see where some of this liquidity is sitting at. And I'll say, like, this is very zoomed out. This is on the monthly. Usually I'm kind of 3-day, daily. We're looking for some of the short-term stuff, so we have something to look forward to for the day, next 48 hours. But if you zoom out a little bit, you can see there's some liquidity there, but there's not any like really big hot spots. It's consistent, but once you get up to about 69K, it gets dark up there. So very interesting, because I know that level being a previous high is probably going to be an area of resistance, but it'd be very interesting to see how it reacts with that area, because there may not be a lot of liquidity sitting there to really have a big impact. It just might be a psychological number where people will exit a trade and take profits at that point. But let's go down to the daily and let's just see what we have, in the short term. You got a couple hot spots. You got one at about 66,150 and then about 66,850. You got a little bit of hot spots there, and then all the way down at about 62.2. So really, I don't know necessarily if liquidity is really going to drive the price action too much. It's not one of those things where you see something that's very apparent, where a nice little wick up could come clear that liquidity. But I would say, like, if I was looking at this, it's really hard. I'm not going to have a bias on this one today, to be honest with you. Let's look at the charts and see kind of how that lines up. Coming over to the charts, looking at, I do have an area of resistance that we talked about, point of control, anywhere between 66,450 and about 66.9. We'll call it pretty much 67. We'll round that one out, but that's a previous point of control here that we can look at. And then what I talked about, that 69K, is that 2021 high was at about 69K, right? So always keep that in mind, because if you go back a little bit on the charts, you'll see that it's hit that area quite a few times, both as support and as resistance. So I would say right now, we're right in the middle of a little bit of a range here, right? So you can see we came up to about 63, we met some resistance, came down, and we actually fell down to about 62. So what you could see right here, an area that was resistance and a little bit of support before a big breakdown, that's one of the big things I always look for. It came down, retested that. So it basically flipped And now that is support, came down, retest, and then up, up, and away. So we're kind of in a range. So top side, again, 66.5 or so. Bottom side, we're looking at about 63.8. I don't know that I would make it a play right now, just being in the middle of what I see as a range. I'd probably look for some action at the top side or the bottom side of that range before I entered into a trade. Now, one thing that I'm seeing on the chart, now this is on the 4 hour, is you're seeing a little bit of bearish divergence. And that's if you're using the prime oscillator. It kind of aligns with RSI most of the time. But you can see price action going up, but you can see prime oscillators kind of working its way down. So, that would give me a little bit of a pause. If we do have a push up to this area, that might be something that I would look for a potential short. We'll just see what happens when it gets up there. So what you do, very simply, just set an alert. All right, set an alert, and then you can reevaluate what's going on, what you're seeing on the charts. Apparently it doesn't like that. I'll go back and mess with that later. But that's kind of how I would approach this. And same thing right here at the 63 8 area. You can look at that. So again, there was a clear area where there was resistance. You can see it was resistance here. You want to see kind of confirmation. It looks like it wants to come down and retest that, honestly. But let me see. What is that? 63.7. Let's just go bounce that off the liquidity real quick. 63.7. Let's see where that's at. That's about right here. So yeah, I don't know. That's an easy touch. I don't know that liquidity is actually going to drive that. But anyways, that's a couple of numbers that I'm looking at on the chart. Overall, you can see we kind of broke out. This is, if you want to call it on the 4 hour, a little bit of reversal, right? Because we came down. This was your area of resistance. We broke through that. Now we got on the top side of that. So, it looks like we want to flip the trend a little bit and start that movement up and right. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Pass it on over to OC, man. I'm sure he's going to crush us.
OC, you seeing anything different on your chart setup, or are you seeing pretty much the same thing? What you got for us?
Oh, pretty much the same. I mean, it's looking very bullish. The only thing that I don't really like at this point is weekly, but we know weekly is a little bit of a little bit late to the party when we're talking about big entries, right? Or pinpoint entries. But nonetheless, we do have two green candles here. We're going back inside the range that we were looking at, and let's go and just take a look at the 4 hour, just to do a little bit of review on yesterday's analysis, where we had these two trend lines in here. This trend lines were basically looking forward for a possible reversal right down here on the oscillator. That reversal will take us back down somewhere around here, or even the worst case scenario to the dynamic reactor to make a inverse head and shoulder. So it seems like that is not there yet, although the breakout of this trend line is also not confirmed, because despite we close one candle above the trend line, we did not hold. So we still need to wait a little bit more. The only thing that I'll be maybe adding, it's going to be this very steep trend line in here, just to make sure that we don't lose that. So basically, it's still my confluence point. It is between this one, this other trend line, and this box in here. So as you can see, I'm still waiting for that possible pullback. If we don't have that pullback, if we basically start closing 1 or 2, 3 candles above this trend line right up here, and we see the flip of the rebound that I'm still waiting for, and I'm going to be moving it like that, well, then you know that my first target is going to be at the top of the range at 7,900, and then finally something around 75,600. So looking bullish, everything looking bullish, but guys, do not keep the eye of the possible bearish scenario, because that's what might be get you in trouble. So remember, be prepared. Better be prepared than sorry. And yeah, other than that, turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. Yeah. So you guys know the Mount Gox. We've been talking about the Mount Gox. Tradefly likes to show his FUD alert, Elmer FUD. We got some Elmer FUD stuff, news always coming out on Mount Gox. I'm just saying. Dude, I love that. I can't wait to see that. By the way, tonight, you and FD White going live at what time? What time is that?
It's going to be 8:30 Eastern, and I am excited. I think I got all the issues worked out, so I was working on that for hours yesterday.
It's good. It's good. It's good stuff, man. I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be tonight. I'm going to be there in the chat watching, because I don't get a chance to chat normally. Let's go check out this news article, guys. Little Elmer FUD here for you, brought to you by Tradefly. Over 36% of Mt. Gox Bitcoin distributed to creditors. But wells keep accumulating. We talked yesterday about how many people thought that these old school Bitcoin people were not going to sell and take profit on this stuff. So Bitcoin wells continue accumulating despite the potential sell pressure from Mt. Gox creditors, which could see about 90%. 99% of the investors selling here. So over 1/3 of the Bitcoin owed to defunct creditors of the Mt. Gox exchange has been distributed, but large Bitcoin holders continue their buying spree unfazed. Over 36% of Bitcoin owed to the creditors has already been distributed, according to a post on July 17th from Crypto Quant. Crypto investors have been concerned about the potential sell pressure that could be introduced by Mt. Gox. More than $9.4 billion worth of Bitcoin is owed to approximately 127,000 people. But they continue accumulating. Large Bitcoin holders, known as whales, continue it. Savvy Well bought 245 Bitcoin, nearly 16 million on July 17th. The address has only traded Bitcoin twice this past year. I want to talk about that first. Excuse me. I apologize, guys. I am fighting off this this allergy season down here in the desert. Like everything under the sun is attacking me today. But let's talk about this. So we've got a lot of these people from Mt. Gox. If you guys were buying Bitcoin on Mt. Gox 10 years ago, you are probably an old school Bitcoin person. You probably have already taken profits. You've made your money and you are in the point of accumulating for that $1 million, that $500,000 Bitcoin, wherever you think that it's going to be in 2030, 2034, right? I don't think as many of these people are going to sell as what they're saying. And that is why we're seeing these wells continue to accumulate now. Matter of fact, we might be at the point of a major breakout coming. And I want to show you guys this thing over an X. Shout out to, who is this guy? Titan of Crypto. That's who this is. He's got this beautiful chart here. So let's jump over and take a look at this. This is let's go back here and take a look, and you can see these are based on Ichimoku analysis, guys. You got the Tenkan line, and that where it starts to break down creates the floor, and then you've got the ceiling, right? And you can see here back in 2011, 2012, 2013, we had to come back and go through the floor because that was where it fell. Hey, but look, we fell, we coming back up. When it crosses the floor, when the Tenkan line crosses the floor, and then we continue up to the ceiling, which is based on the high wick there, and then it ramps up, and that's where you get this massive move. Again, we go here. We've got the Tenkan line. It breaks down. That becomes the floor, right? We come in off of that. We break through the floor. We break through the ceiling, and that is where we get that move up. Another cycle. We sit here, we look, we see the floor, we see the ceiling, there's the pull down, creates the floor. We come in, we break that ceiling and floor, comes up, does its ramp up. I want you guys to look at what's going on right now. What we have going on right here is we have broken the floor from this previous pullback here on the Tenkan line, and we are now on the ceiling for our ramp up. This is these are monthly candles, just keep that in mind, guys. But this is poised now for us to be on another parabolic breakout. According to something that I saw earlier today, we are about 1 month away from the parabolic volume that takes place when we break through this. So thoughts on this chart? I'd love to hear what you guys think in the chat. Are we about a month away from the parabolic move breaking through that Ichimoku ceiling? And I'd love to hear Tradefly and OC. You call BS on this? What's your thoughts on the Mt. Gox? Like, what do you got for us, man?
Well, you guys know me. I'm the bear. So 88K was my thing. I don't know that we're going to go into some kind of parabolic move. You hear all kinds of craziness about these moves. And, you know, I don't see it, to be honest. I think we're going to have a little bit calmer of a move up and right. I do think Bitcoin is going to increase in price. Don't get me wrong. I'm still very much bullish in the long term on Bitcoin. I just think with institutional investment, like, we're going to have a much more mellow and, you know, more controlled climb up and right. I don't think we're going to see these $10,000 wick days anymore. I think that's a thing of the past. But Can it make some significant moves? Maybe. Once FOMO really enters the market, maybe. But I think it's going to take Bitcoin to get up to 100K for that to actually happen. I think that's the number where people are going to be like, "Oh my god, I missed the boat. I need to get into this." And that's probably exactly when people are going to start selling off and dump it on your face. But that being said, Mount Gox, I will say that I'm going to take a very different opinion on that. And I think that there is going to be a sell off. And I think that that sell off is going to come in very quick and very fast as soon as they get their money, because these people have been waiting since February 2014, which Bitcoin was at an average price of $600 some dollars, and now it's sitting at $65,000. Now they're only going to get a percentage of that back, but they are still heavily in profit. And think about the feelings that they had initially when they lost that investment. If you invested $20,000-$30,000 in Bitcoin and you lost it all, like, dude, that's a terrible feeling. You think that money's gone. Now, hindsight, like, it turns up being probably one of the greatest investments of their life. Even though they're only getting a percentage back, they're still up hundreds of percents. It's kind of wild to think about. So hodl like it's hot, right? Diamond hands for the win, but I think they're going to sell it off, man. I really do. You're just going to get that quick hit. I think it's going to be similar to like the Germany sell off, right? You're going to get a little dumpsy. You're going to get a pullback, and then we're going to settle out, and then we're going to just keep this trend up and right, because once they sell it off, who's going to buy it up? The institutions, of course, right? The institutions love these pullbacks. And it's just an opportunity for Saylor and all the big money to continue to buy more. They're going to accumulate more. So even though there's a pullback, I still think that it's going to find support, and then it's going to keep. I mean, if you just look at the chart on the weekly, you're seeing what the trend is. It's up and right. So that's how I feel.
All right. Well, that's interesting, and I can't disagree with you on that. But I do think that it's going to be a lot more people that don't sell than what do. And then also another point that was made was that time period that we're talking about on Bitcoin hitting that top channel that we were looking at in that platinum pocket, that is right about in the timeline of Bitcoin 2024. And we know, we've always said it's going to pump at this rally, but when we go to these conventions, that's normally when we do get pullbacks. So keep that in mind too. That's just to buy a rumor, sell the news. Oh, we got a Bitcoin convention, everything's bullish on it. Yeah, we're going to dump it. OC, do you got any thoughts on that? Do you think we're going to see a lot of sell off on Mount Gox? What do you think, man?
I don't think that we need to see a little bit of a sell-off of somebody trying to push things downwards. Like, for example, in the bear market, here's the thing. There's always going to be something that is going to be the black swan, or what I've been calling it, just a little swan, right? Whatever happens. What I want to see is that actual sell-off of Mt. Gox, and then not a big reaction of Bitcoin. So I'm not scared on who's going to be selling. I'm not scared of when they're going to be selling. I'm always prepared. I do still have my side cash, my FOMO cash here. And I think that's going to be important for a change of perspective, because when we see this, whatever important event happened, and it does not affect that much the price negatively on Bitcoin, well, I think we are ready to pop. Like, for example, remember the crash of 3 Arrow Capitals on bear market? That went horribly wrong. And then so on and so forth. And then finally, when we see FTX just crashing, the actual crash was not there. Right? I mean, yes, we had an extra pullback, but it wasn't that big of a deal. So I do, and this is my opinion, I do think that we're going to be seeing that sell-off of Mt. Gox. And as you were reading yesterday, and kind of like I'm bringing this up, only paper hands might be selling, right? So that for one point will be creating a big wick to the downside, flash crash, and then maybe we're going to be getting ready for it. Although if we can go very quick to my charts, this is the only thing I'm going to be wrapping things up. I want to bring up the stock to flow model. Remember, this one got everybody wrecked right all the way up here. So do take this with tweezers, right? But as you can see, we are on the red areas in here. That doesn't mean that we're not pulling back down, but that also means that building up that pressure, that negative pressure, that we are basically at the limits of how low we could or we should be going before we start ramping up, right? Another thing that I want to bring up, this is not this one here, is the miners capitulation. This is kind of like the Caprioli chart. But something important I want to point out, it is in which stage we are right now. We are after the halving right here. So after the halving, we could still have a little bit more movement. And I would say maybe, 1-2 months before we start having that pullback that we can see here, and then it ramp up, the pullback, and then it ramp up, the pullback, and then the ramp up. So the only difference that we can see, it is things are getting a little bit more smooshed down. So again, this could take just a little bit more. So maybe I could be looking at the second quarter, or the third quarter, yeah, or the finals of 2024, jumping, getting to October, November 2025, before we see the big pump. But at this point, I don't think that we're going to be going that much lower.
All right. Well, and we showed yesterday that that minor capitulation was in recovering phase. So we did get that on the weekly. Let's jump over and take a look at Injective, and then we're going to start into altcoins, guys. Let us know a couple of altcoins you guys would like to see. I know Tradefly said he wants to take a look at Solana. So we'll look at that in a minute.
Soul Train ready.
The Soul Train, that's right. Guys, $50 Injective. As per the thumbnail today, analyst bullish on Injective after a 25% surge. The price of Injective increased over 25% in the past week from a low of $17 to actually, I don't even think it's that. I think it's a little bit higher than that right now. We'll look at that in a moment. The upbeat perception of Bitcoin has been a significant factor in the success of altcoins. Injective is one of the most significant beneficiaries. And something that's important on this, guys, is that 60%, I believe. Let me look here. Yes. Injective broke out and is showing its power. 60% of the Injective tokens are staked, and it's only a matter of time before we see an aggressive move up. Going back over here and taking a look at this breakout. Actually, let's just go to the chart. Let's just do the charts, man. I got it on the chart. You guys see we had this 4-hour trend here to the downside. We broke it right here. This would be Sunday afternoon. We broke this. And since then, it has been on an absolute tear. We came in. You can see we did get a little bit of a rejection test here on the 887 of the Platinum Pocket. And then we broke up through that. Got a rejection here on the value area. High of the fixed range volume profile, came down for a bounce off of the 50-day moving average. This is like textbook levels here, guys. From there, it came back up, got a little bit of a test there on the 300-day, just walked right through the 100-day, and now it is at its rejection point above the 786 of the Platinum Pocket, with its wicks ticking above the 200-day exponential moving average. I think that if we get up here and we prove this 200-day moving average along with that 786, guys, we are easily heading up to the golden pocket. That would put us at 30. The 50% would put us at $35. And then that $50 range, guys, is up here just under a 1-to-1 on the zero line, which took place back here on Injective on 14 March. So that was when Bitcoin was at hitting its all-time high range. That is where we're looking at for Injective to head. So if you one of those people, Alex Crypto, that did its move over from the Polygon Matic over to Injective, you're doing quite well. I think you're doing good there. Another thing that I do want to show here before we pass it over to look at those altcoins, guys, we have the Bitcoin dominance. It is sitting at 54 and pulling back. It is got a range right here with the dynamic reactor, but the one that I am watching, take this total 2 into account. This is the one that we've been talking about for a hot minute here, guys, on this weekly, and we got this nice support run off of the cup top here, right? We do have the wedge here, and we are pushing up towards that. Again, this is what that candle pattern would look like from the previous cycle. If we look at it just how we have in the past, and that would be a beautiful breakout. So that one's going to be coming in at about $1.13 trillion on the total too. That is the total market cap minus Bitcoin. And I do think that we are setting up, despite Bitcoin dominance being at a key area of support, I do think that we're setting up nice on the total too for that breakout. Injective, going to enjoy that ride along with the total too. So, OC TradeFly, let's jump it over to you and let's take a look at what you got for today, bro.
So I want to show you guys something real quick because we were having this discussion about Bitcoin and kind of the stock to flow model. Well, this is TradeFly's little chart. All right. This is something you guys been watching right here, February 2024. All right. Check it out. Look at the high. Look at the high again. Look at this median, all right, of this first channel. So there's two channels that you're keeping an eye on. And the channels basically, this creates another median if you take the two channels, combine them, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, but looking at this median, right, you can see it acts as resistance. So down here was support, resistance, rejected initially, went through all the way up to the top, rejected on the median again, came down, support, look, big breakdown. What do we do? Came up and look, stopped right there as resistance before we ultimately shot up to what? The median. And now we're just kind of retesting that median again. We came all the way back down to where support was at the bottom part of the channel. I would advise to put this on your charts. Honestly, it's been pretty money. Why? And my prediction of where it was going was about 88,000. I might raise that up a little bit just based on time and when it actually gets there. But it's a very simple TA. All right, you just have a channel that's going up and right, just kind of following the flow. It's essentially running with the stock to flow a little bit, but it's basically just following the actual, you know, the momentum or how the price of the stock or the or Bitcoin is going up and right. And so this is why I think that 90,000 is going to be our top, and then I think it's going to pull back to the median, because if you look at this, like that's where it was finding a little bit of support and then ultimately broke down. So don't be surprised if you see it go all the way up to the top here, which is probably more likely to be, you know, somewhere around 91,000. If it does it in the near term, just depends on when it gets there, right? If you extend this out into like March or even the end of March, you could look at that 100K Bitcoin that we're talking about. You could see it hit that 100K, and then what's going to happen? Psychological number, everyone, you know, starts to have that little bit of FOMO, and then they dump it on your face, right? And you pull back to the median. So keep that in your sights. I'll say I would recommend putting it on your charts. I'm a big believer in this, and it's very simple TA. But anyways, all right, let's get over to Sol. I just wanted to show that to you guys. It's been accurate, and we'll call that trade flies. Maybe I'll come up with something like an Eric Wallen chart or something. But anyways,
it's the trade flight plan. It's the flight plan.
Yeah, flight plan. There you go. I like it. All right. See, this is why we keep Piper around, man. He's smart. All right. Sol, we talked about Sol a little bit. One of the things we were looking at here was this area, which was an area of resistance. We got that move up, man. It was a pretty aggressive move up and right. I told you guys if it was intraday or scalping, I would have been out right here at that line, but it kept on pushing it up. And I was like, all right, well, what's next? Well, we can look for a retest and then look for movement up and right. So we got the retest right here at about 154, and then it just pumped all the way up to the area of resistance that I was looking at. So one thing that you need to keep an eye on now that we've made that move, you can see all the lines I got on the chart here, because initially I'm looking for the move up. Well, now I'm looking for the move back. Okay, so if the crypto market keeps pushing up and right, well, you know, it might actually push through. You get a multiple retest here. Keep an eye on that. But I would say, like, if I was just looking at the chart, nothing else, you know, it's hard for me to say to fight the trend, right? Because it's such an aggressive move up. But I would actually expect more of a little bit of a pullback, and that's just based on, look, RSI, prime oscillators pulling back, we got overbought, and then price actions hitting an area of resistance, right? And an area of resistance that lines up. This is a significant area, all right? So this is why I love putting horizontal lines on the chart, because then you start to see it's support, breakdown, retest, break, and then a big like breakdown, right? We had a big move down and right. So for me, this is an area that I would look at for a potential short. That's just something I'm gonna look at. All right. So right now, though, price is still moving up and right. Be careful with it, but that's 163, we'll call it. is an area that I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback, at least to come back down and retest this 154 area. So that's intraday scalping, not long term. You can see that, this right here was really the area, kind of my line in the sand to be like, okay, we're flipping the trend for Sol. All right, now we're making some moves back up and right. So, look for that retest. And then ultimately, if the market keeps moving up and right, then I expect Sol to keep moving up and right, just like the arrow showing you here. But that's what I'm looking at on Sol. There's a couple quick numbers for you, and then I will pass it along to the next guy.
Oh, see what you got for us, bro.
I got Cardano. Let's let me pull it up here. And basically, what we have is a little bit of a mess. Nonetheless, after that mess, it seems that we had called this breakouts and basically just getting ready to start moving upwards. So something that I'm seeing right here on ADA, and let me just clear this up because it's about time. It is this oscillator. Oh, come on, the oscillator up here. So something that I don't really like to see at this point is how long we've been compressing on the oscillator, and still we haven't had that breakout in the oscillator phase. Like something, let me show you like what well, I don't have it right here. There we go, something like that, where we compress and then we have that big move. When we had the big move, we were not compressed, so we're compressing at the top. Usually that means that we could be breaking back or down at the bottom. Nonetheless, it's not there yet. But also something to take notice, it is that this pattern is not looking as something that I really want to see. If I ignore this wicking here, we could be looking at an up-ranging channel, which usually tends to break downwards to where, well, I will be guessing to the dynamic reactor. There's another possibility in which I do take a look at that wick down there, and we could be doing a megaphone, still a ponying up megaphone. So again, a little bit concerning on the breakout or the psychology of that pattern. But let me bring up my instruments in here. So where do I have my supports? Where do I have my resistances? And what could I be expecting? Well, so far everything is bullish down here. So it is a great opportunity for either a big breakout and retest or a dump for the market makers. And I'm going to be going for a little bit of a retracement on the market makers. And again, maybe somewhere around these areas. Why? Because we have some big supporting here. Something to note, it is that we are breaking back into the green area. So if we see a breakout, and this is not financial advice, I will be jumping in at the candle close. So, and then setting my stop back into the pattern here, and that is just to catch a big wick possibility like that. So that would be a small trade that I could be taking just to catch a flash pump like we had yesterday on, that was on, let me see, on I believe was Pyth or Core. I don't quite remember that. So let me go and just hover over the rest of the things that we have. And yeah, as you can see right down here, we have the big area of support as we already were looking at here with two big order blocks. And then we have the premium area here along with a fair value gap. So look at that wick that I'm seeing right here. Wouldn't be out of the question to hit the top of the wick or even extend, the top of this box, or even extend just a little bit within that area that I was marking. So despite we have a little bit of resistance here, we have much more support right down here. So for me, it makes sense that we do have that pullback on those areas to grab some liquidity. That will actually be good for a breakout retest on the, I would say, on the 12 hours. There we go. Breakout and retest somewhere around here on previous lows or throughout or to the dynamic reactor. So other than that, it's looking good. It's still bullish. I don't think that we're going to be turning bearish. And yeah, I mean, so far so good. Just have a plan B and use your stop loss there. So turning it back to you guys.
All right, let's jump over and let's talk total 3 because we had someone ask about that. So I want to show that chart. First off, total 3, guys, it's look, it is identical on the setup to this total 2. You guys can see it here. No change. You take ETH out of the equation, it is the same structure really going on here. We could literally take all of the indicator overlays that I've done on Total 2, drop it right on Total 3, still seeing the same thing. Ethereum is taking up in the percentage with Bitcoin as a blue chip, and the alts are still doing what all the other alts do. Shout out to Ray Ann Shipley in the chat there. Let's go look at ICP. Let's talk about this story back in 2021, guys. You guys see this trend line here? Had some resistance off of it, a couple of bounces on the fake out above it, and then pulled back down, right? We're going to follow this line over the history here and go forward in time to this trend line to see why you don't always delete your trend lines off, guys. Leave them on. Leave them on. They will still come to play later on in time. And you can see here, we have a lot of support on it. We have a resistance. We have resistance. We have resistance. Guys, we are currently sitting at this old, and I'm talking years old resistance here right now. Also coming in on ICP against the 300-day, the 100-day, 200-day, all sitting above us. And we are above the golden pocket. I think that on this daily, if we do not break this, we're going to come back for a retest here, possibly on the 50-day, but definitely on the 0.66 at $9. And then that would be where we look for the breakout on this. Guys, when we get a breakout on this, though, if it happens on this candle or whether it pulls back and does another retest here, because we have not come back to test the bottom of the golden pocket. You can see here we got rejected, and then we just punched through, held on the 618. We have not done a bottom line test on this golden pocket. Whether it be now or whether we do that, we are poised for a major breakout on the ICP. The reason that I think we likely do a little pullback retracement here is because we are sitting way overbought, starting to get curvature up in this bear range, and we're starting to get smaller candles here on the RSI. I do think that we could see some pullback before we break this, but we are at key resistance. That is the point there on ICP that I want to bring up and let you guys know that that's where we are. That's what I'm seeing. So let's we got about 3 minutes. We got time for one more. Tradefly, let's jump over to you. Give us a quick recap, and then let's talk it out as the show.
Right on. Got a XRP up on the daily. So this is for Alexo Crypto. I am not a professional by any means, but I will point out this trend line that I've been watching for a significant amount of time. All right. So this is essentially the range, like the support level as this price action was moving up and right. I know a lot of people were getting mad with XRP. They're like, oh, it's not doing anything, yada, yada, yada. But look at the price action. It was really working its way up and right. At least the bottom part of the support level was. So it was hitting resistance consistently up at about 73 cents. Where can we go from the move right now? Well, look at the wick you have. So there's a little bit of selling pressure here. And I think that correlates to this right here. All right. You can see it hit a resistance, resistance, a lot of resistance here at about 64 cents, right in that range. And you can see the wick off of that as well. But one thing I want to point out here is that this trend line is very, very important. Okay. You can see how what was support turned into resistance before it broke down a little bit. And this is why we do like trend lines, Lunar Beaches Crypto, because look, it was a beautiful little scalp trade when it came up and retested this trend line. Boom, came all the way back down, and then it retested the dynamic reactor, which has been money. Found support there, the dynamic reactor, and it pumped up into the right. So what do I expect now? I think we're going to flip this area from resistance into support. I think we'll come back down. We'll retest this area before we actually make that move up and right to about 64 cents again. That's kind of what I'm going to be looking at. So there is your important numbers right around 57 cents as support, and then up to about 64 to 65 cents as resistance. So you're in the middle of the range right now, but those are your two key areas to kind of hone in on if you're looking to go for a little scalp or an intraday trade.
Awesome. This is for Mark Dutch. He said we need more food pictures. There you go. Beautiful ribeye bone-in steak there for you. That's what we got there. Yeah, there you go. Happy vibes and steaks. Guys, I do think that we're going to see stagnant today, maybe a little boring. Nothing major on the pullbacks today. If it does pull back, I'm not looking for too heavy. Even with all that FUD news coming out on NVIDIA, it was only a 4% pullback on market open. It could still end up to the upside today, but I don't think it's going to be God candle. I don't think we're going to see that today on anything to the upside or devil candle to the downside. I think it's just going to be chill today on Hump Day. So I'm looking forward to the market close tonight for Crypto Nightcap with TradeFly and FD White. So shout out to my boy FD White in the chat. Looking forward to that show tonight. But TradeFly, OC, what do you guys got for the people on the way out? We'll go with TradeFly first.
Hey, as always, it's great being here. I snuck one in. It's always good to mix it up with you guys. I love getting on here. And yeah, super excited about tonight. So catch us at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be going live Monday through Thursday from here on out. So tonight is the official premiere. Think we got it all worked out, man. I'm excited. Hope to see you guys there and hope everyone has a great day.
Awesome. OC, if they haven't hit the like button, they have one chance to win something great. What is it?
Guys, thank you so much for being here. A quick reminder to hit that like button, because if you do, maybe your next favorite book will come on sale. And maybe just check out there and click the like button and see if you have a discount coupon. Billy Goat Tells book. So just take a look at that one and see if you guys like it. So please, guys, help us out with the algorithm, hit that like button, and also give that support for those huge and amazing books that are up there in the crypto space. So
awesome.
Back to you, my friend.
Appreciate it, man. Guys, if you're looking for a book to buy, get it. It's Bridge to Bitcoin by Billy Goat Tells. So you guys have got to go get that book. It is available on Amazon. Not sure it's a Prime Day deal, though. There you go. It's Prime Days right now. So, guys, we're going to be back here tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But tonight, we're going to be watching Crypto Nightcap. It's already put up. Go over there, hit that notify, get notified that it is going live tonight. You got to go check it out. FD White and TradeFly doing the Crypto Nightcap show. But we are about to head over to Randy Hipper, and we're going to go raid that show. So go in there and drop those graduation caps. Let them know that the alumni is into the building, and we will catch you guys tomorrow morning right back here for the morning show. Guys, until then, trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss and never, ever cook your steaks over medium. Catch you guys tomorrow.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. Sound off to get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean.
That was awesome, dude!